Hello, my name is Dan Coffey, and I'll be running for the mayor of the city of New Albany on the independent ticket. About 5 years ago, I decided I would be an independent as opposed to a party line politician because I learned over the years that neither party cares. It's all about party politics. It has nothing to do with fair government. I'm going to tell you a few of the things that I believe that we need to do, or what we'd like to do. One is controlling spending and debt. And one of the ways you do that is you ensure contracts offer the best value for the city. We just had one contract go out that only had one bid. Well, we should have sent it back out to get more. You have to hold your department heads accountable for their workers and budget spending. Far too often they run over budget, and there's really no need. We have to create long-term financial stability. That means that we don't bond out for a project today and pay for it 30 years down the road, because then we don't have money to do what we need to do. And direct resources to infrastructure and services. All you have to do is go around this town and you have flooding, you have drainage problems. Of course, we're not having them during a drought, but we all know what we've had these past 2-3 years. You've got sidewalks that are in total disrepair. I know that we are paving roads, but so many of these roads that we're paving aren't going to last but 2 years. You have to fix the base that's under them, and then you have to use a quality blacktop. I'd like to see more cooperation between the city and the county. And the way we do that is we have to meet together and try to work together and see what our differences are. And we need to merge our overlapping services to better serve all residents. There's no sense in the county paying for a part of the government and the city paying for the part of the government, and they're both doing the same thing. We're paying twice for the same purpose. And what people have to realize is that the city pays county taxes. You as a resident, you pay city and you pay county taxes. So we should get our fair share out of that. We would continue to work with our business leaders. We would support existing companies to help them grow and expand, and we would work together to bring new business, industry, and developments to enrich your city. And one of the ways you do that is you can have just one set of zoning laws for the entire county. Right now, if you want to put in, depending on where you're at, you might have to go through 3 different government organizations on their zoning laws to make something happen. We need to invest in our neighborhoods. It's really nice to have this downtown, but we're spending millions there and nothing in our neighborhoods. And you can see it. One of the ways that we'll do that is I propose that we have police patrols in our neighborhoods like we used to have, which really helped keep crime down. And the neighbors knew the officers knew the neighbors, they knew who should be there, who shouldn't be there, and that really knocked the crime down. We've got to clean up our blighted areas by enforcing our codes and ordinance that we have on the books, that for some reason we don't choose to do that. I know all of y'all know different places in the neighborhood where people operate in scrap yards, junk yards, that type of thing. And like I said, we need to look beyond the downtown area and use resources in our neighborhoods for sidewalks, paving, drainage, flood control, and safety. Now, the one thing that we haven't been doing in this community is it seems like we've lost our direction on helping those that are in need. And I'm going to give you 3 points to ponder here. One, I don't know how many of you all know, but the shelter for the battered women's closed. And they claim it's due to lack of money, but yet all the office workers are still working there, and they're their solution to this was to send these women with their children to homeless shelters, which doesn't have the space for them, but they'd be going across the river over into Louisville. And if you think about it, if they were in that situation, they are not going to put their children in that situation to move them out of their schools, away from their friends, and what they would deem to be unsafe for their children. They're going to go back to a bad situation. We have to help people like that. You know, I get really flustered that we don't do anything for our vets. A lot of lip service, but we don't do anything for them. The city of New Albany owns a lot of lots, numerous, it's in the hundreds. And I feel that if we have a program for like Habitat for Humanity, why can't we do that same program for our veterans? Some of these veterans, men and women, they're married, they have families, but yet they can't make ends meet. If you look out there, rent payment is higher in a lot of cases than a house payment would be. Now, I'm not saying we sell this property to them. I say we build these homes, we put them in there, and this property gets back on the tax rolls, and we no longer have to pay to sit there and maintain it. The deal with the homelessness. When I was on the Housing Authority Board from '92 to 2000, we kept a certain percentage of our units open. So let's say there was a fire, then the people could, you know, we could move them in there right off, you know, from the start, and then they could work things out. But why couldn't we do the same thing for the people that are homeless? You know, a lot of our homeless started to become a real problem when the state closed down the mental institutions and kicked these people out on the street. That's what HUD is for. That's what the Housing Authority is for. And for some reason, we're not choosing to use this asset that we have. Then it's also about putting citizens first. We have to create an atmosphere to keep citizens informed. One of my goals is to take the Board of Works around once a month into a different place, be it a school or church or whatever, and have an open meeting that all people can come, and it'll be like at 6 o'clock at night where, you know, you can work it in. We have to be accessible and responsive to the public. Government hasn't done that in a long time. I'm not pointing fingers, I'm just stating a fact. We haven't done that in quite some time. People finally get tired of talking about their problems, and they just, you know, kind of go away. Our redevelopment commission used to be to help people in lower incomes, help them fix their homes, or we would do infrastructure in that area. Now we're finding that we're spending millions of dollars to help someone build a large project that really has no benefit for the community other than maybe a few tax dollars. Redevelopment was set up to help lower income people, not to sit there and lower the cost of a multi-million-dollar project. The one thing, there's more, I don't want to bore you, but the one thing that, to show you how serious I am with this, I've had a few people say, Danny, do you think you can really win, you know, being a independent? Well, yeah, not only myself, but others. And if you look throughout the state of Indiana, there are numerous independent office holders. People are tired of the same old party line politics. It's a clear choice out here. We continue down the path that we have, and some may like that, some may not. Or we choose to start putting people first, and our communities first, and our neighborhoods, and be transparent in how we do it. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Mayor Jeff Gahan. Thanks for watching. We've covered a lot of ground in the last few years and kicked up plenty of dust. Our quality of life projects, safety improvements, and developments have made us the envy of the region. We've revamped our parks, added a sportsplex, and River Run Water Park. For the first time in 100 years, the people of New Albany own the vast majority of the riverfront. Plans are in the works to complete the Greenway project and create additional opportunities for health and fitness. We've worked hard to address areas of neglect as well. The old Wright Center will soon become New City Hall, which saves a historic building and provides the people of New Albany a chance to stop the endless cycle of rent payments and restore City Hall back into the hands of the people. We've passed the first rental registration and inspection policies to ensure that our renters have a safe place to live. Our administration has modified zoning rules to protect our residents. This is the first zoning upgrade in over 40 years. We've completed a comprehensive plan with over 800 citizens participating. We've replaced bridges and guardrails, street signs, and water pumps. For the last 16 months, New Albany has been undergoing a major infrastructure repair. Mount Tabor Road is no longer going to slide off the hill. Sidewalks are coming to Grantline Road, Slate Run Road, and also to Mount Tabor, making our city safer for pedestrians. Be sure to drive down Main Street to enjoy our unique and vibrant downtown culture. We have great places to eat and to shop. You can get a good look at all these places while driving downtown on the new and improved two-way street grid. These are the results on the outside. On the inside, New Albany's fundamentally better and financially stronger. I've kept the city's budget balanced every year as mayor, and we haven't had to raise taxes. Our city's financial rating has been upgraded to an A+, which gives us the security we need to plan for the future with confidence. When necessary, we've moved to demolish vacant and unsafe homes, making room for revitalization. Nearly 18 acres of blighted, vacant industrial buildings have been removed from our neighborhoods and been replaced with brand new areas for people to improve their health. The 200-unit breakwater apartment is fully occupied and illustrates renewed interest in living here in our river city. And let's not forget about our wastewater utility. It's an integral part of our city operation, and over the years it's been the source of controversy and EPA violations. Since I've become mayor, we've made improvements that will benefit the city for years to come. We decided early that we needed to manage the utility in-house, saving over $3 million in outside management fees. Sewer overflows have been reduced from 70 to 1. The State Street Corridor is the home to some of the most valuable real estate in the metro area. It's also the home of the site of the largest economic development project in Floyd County. These types of transformations take a concerted effort by many groups and would not be possible without broad support from our citizens and community members. I consider myself very fortunate to have the chance to lead the city of New Albany in these improvements, and I'm proud to serve as your mayor. As a lifelong resident, it's been an honor to serve, but we're not done yet. There's still work to do. The Charleston Road corridor and the Vincennes Street area are ready for new development, and the time is right for us to follow through. We will work closely with others to improve early care and early education facilities and double our efforts to combat drug abuse. We know these are two areas in which all cities need help, but we plan to make it a concerted effort in 2020. Of course, the safety of our citizens is of primary importance to me in all matters, and we'll continue to invest in our police and fire departments to make sure that we have the best equipment and training to protect themselves and our residents. I'm excited once again to ask for your vote as mayor, because there are lots of improvements in store. Again, I'm Mayor Jeff Gahan. I would appreciate your support. Thanks again, and thanks for watching.
Hi, I'm Mark Seabrook, and I'm running for mayor of the city of New Albany. My family bought ground from the Scrivener family in 1814 and settled here. They worked building steamboats and other river equipment, and in 1920 they opened a family service business. Next year, that family service business will be 100 years old. I retired from that business last year to pursue the mayor of New Albany race, and retired knowing that I learned a lot from that business. In the 48 years I was there, I served people in their darkest hour, and I was able to find out what's important to me. And the two things that are important to me are to value other people and to care about them. And secondly, to listen to them. Listening is a very valuable tool in anybody's life. It helps you evaluate the situation, it helps you evaluate yourself, and it helps you to do the right thing. Those come naturally to me. As I've listened to people through the city, as I've gone door to door, the same themes come around. They want to know if their money is being properly managed, and they want to understand how those decisions have been made. And they want to be involved. People in this community want to have a say-so to what's going on, and they want to understand what's going on. The Seabrook team is all about families and neighborhoods. Neighborhoods are the foundation of a city. Neighborhoods are where we live, where we raise our children, and where we have our families. We will be clear about investments in infrastructure. No surprises, and we'll do things right the first time. We will make communicating with city government easy and convenient. We will be transparent about city finances and let you know where your money comes from and where your money is being spent and why. We will spend wisely for you. We will make New Albany an inclusive and friendly city and a place where people will want to live. Thank you for your time, thank you for WNAS, and thank you for voting.
Hello, my name is Kelly Falk, and I'm running for City Clerk on the Republican ticket. This is such a special moment for me to once again speak from the WNAS studio. It was 30 years ago that I was here as a senior in New Albany High School, celebrating the station's 40th anniversary and reporting Election Day results. I want to begin by thanking Mr. Brian Sullivan and the students at WNAS for offering this service to the voters of New Albany. Let me tell you a bit about my background. After graduating from New Albany High School, I went on to Ball State University, where I received my Bachelor of Science degree and a double major in Public Relations and Photojournalism. My 25-year career in Public Relations and Marketing ranged from working in education at Greater Clark County Schools to working with the Kentucky Humane Society and corporate experience with Anthem and Humana. I've always believed in providing service to others and encourage everyone to do the same, contributing your time, talent, or treasure. We need to help one another. After leaving the Kentucky Humane Society as its Public Relations and Marketing Director, I continued to care for hundreds of animals through the years as a foster parent, allowing animals to grow or heal in my home prior to being placed for adoption. I couldn't tell you how many times I've donated blood or plasma. I even donated one of my kidneys to a former New Albany High School classmate so that he could watch his young daughter grow up. My most recent contribution to our community is that as an advocate for residents of the Mount Tabor Road project. I have spent the past 6 years working with my neighbors to protect our property from eminent domain and unnecessary development of our residential neighborhood. Together, we brought accountability to the first phase of the project and put a stop to the second phase. As a result, we have maintained the residential character of the neighborhood, protected it from additional traffic and future development, all while saving public funds. This experience made me realize the lack of transparency in the city of New Albany, and that is why improving transparency is the cornerstone of my campaign. Plans should not be kept from the citizens, nor should the minutes of public meetings. Citizens should have access to the same information available to its elected officials, and I will make sure that happens, starting with posting the minutes of public meetings along with all supporting documents on the city website. Transparency is key to both open and honest communication as well as accountability. Speaking of accountability, I hold myself to high standards and expect the same of others, especially when it comes to our elected officials. You can count on me to do my job in a timely and detail-oriented manner. I look forward to living in a city that provides professional service to its citizens. We should be helpful, polite, and working together as a team. City government should not be any different than the Fortune 500 companies where I have worked. We should be known for exceptional customer service to you. transparency, accountability, and service. That is what I want our city to offer, and that is what I pledge to bring to the position of city clerk. You will find me to be professional, accessible, and committed to ensuring your requests are fulfilled in a timely and cheerful manner. My name is Kelly Falk, and I look forward to serving you as city clerk. I would appreciate your vote in November.
Hi, my name is Vicki Glotzback, and I am currently your city clerk. I have served in that capacity for the past 8 years and would like to continue to serve for another term. While being city clerk, I have digitized all the historical records for easier research and to preserve the historical books. They are very fragile and are now stored off-site in a climate-controlled environment for their protection. I have also been a nonpartisan clerk dedicated to open access of records for everyone and will continue to be if re-elected. I will continue to improve upon information that is available to the public via the New Albany City Clerk webpage on the City of New Albany website. I have worked in close partnership with the city's administration and legal department to aid in resolving the difficulties in the collection of unpaid ordinance violation citations and will continue to do so. I will continue to assist citizens by acting as a liaison to the proper departments to assist with any questions or concerns, as well as assisting citizens regarding ordinances and codes on record. I will continue to work hard to serve my community and hope to have your support. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is David Abersold, and I'm running for re-election of the New Albany City Council at large. I am a lifelong resident of the city of New Albany. I was born in New Albany and raised on Silver Street. Took over the family business Abersold Floors that was originally started by my grandfather in 1908. My wife Lana and I have been married almost 53 years. We have 3 children and 4 grandchildren, all of them raised in the city of New Albany. I graduated from New Albany High School in 1961, attended University School of Business in Bloomington and graduated in 1966, and I've been a part of this community my whole life. I have been previously a president of the New Albany Chamber of Commerce. I have been the president of the New Albany Industrial Foundation, which created the industrial parks off of Hosfeld Lane and Grantline Road. I've been a past board member of the Develop New Albany when it was first started. I am the former president of the Harvest Homecoming, and I am presently administrative board member and trustees chairperson of Centenary United Methodist Church. I am now the current vice president of Horseshoe Foundation of Floyd County. As a representative of the citizens of New Albany, I've always considered my first responsibility is the accountability of your tax dollars. First and foremost is the protection of the people of New Albany. Through our police department, our fire department, our ambulance service, our sanitation department, and maintaining and upgrading and developing the city's streets, roadways, and infrastructure. All of these will help encourage local business growth, encourage employment opportunities, and help tax revenue to make our city a better place in which to live and bring our families up in. We need to capitalize on our community's unique assets. We have revitalized the downtown area, new businesses coming in, buildings being renovated, increase employment in these new businesses. We have 4 main roadways that can lead into this new life in our downtown district, but it is not easy to get there. Potholes seem to be everywhere, even after a couple of years of a street being paved. Could it be an inferior product the city of New Albany is using? The Spring Street corridor used to be one of the best and easiest ways to get to downtown New Albany, but not necessarily now. 1 lane to downtown, and not 3, stoplights at intersections that have very little or no cross traffic, bike lanes that are seldom used. It takes many times 2 or more changes in the traffic signals to get through an intersection. There have been 2 very bad accidents since the renovation of Spring. It is not very and was not very well thought of as a plan to start the new Spring Street renovation. Charlestown Road has had some improvements lately, but they stop at Slate Run Road. 2 lanes from there, very few sidewalks, curbs and gutters, and essentially ends at Vincent Street. From Hidden Court out Charlestown Road, curbs, gutters, and sidewalks have been missing since the 1930s. New updates in this area only occurs when a new business begins. Grantline Road has made tremendous headway in the last couple of years, and we're getting it close to being done. It will end at Beechwood and Daisy Lane intersection, but we need to go further into downtown. We need to make that happen, and we need to make that happen soon. State Street is our 4th main pathway to downtown. It's not an easy drive down State Street. With all the interference in the roadway, it's just not a very nice, wide, beautiful, welcoming entrance to our unique downtown showcase. And one of the other best assets that the city of New Albany has is Indiana University Southeast. Who else in our local area in Indiana has a university like IUS in their town? No one. We need to take advantage of this tremendous asset. New Albany needs to embrace that community, promote the university as much as we do the downtown area. At times it seems like it's almost separate from the city of New Albany. Too much money has been spent on pet projects that help only a few. There is much potential in the Vincennes corridor for new and revitalized businesses. The Charlestown Road area around Colonial Manor needs a new spirit of growth. Buildings have been vacant far too long in that area. Tax dollars should be spent in that kind of area for new infrastructure such as curbs, gutters, sidewalks, lighting to promote the expansion of new businesses and housing. Hindsight is usually tremendous, but we need to learn from our mistakes. Sometimes millions of the new city offices are not spent the best way to use for your tax dollars, when so much needs to be done with our infrastructure and many other different ways throughout our whole community. I can see that you can too by just driving around our city. I want to continue to help this community by being your representative on the New Albany City Council. I am David Aebersold, asking for your vote for the New Albany City Council at large, and thanking you in advance for your support and your confidence in me to be your voice in our city government. And I also want to thank Brian Sullivan and his staff for the New Albany High School for allowing me to be a part of your Meet the Candidate show.
Hi, I'm Jason Applegate, candidate for City Council at large. I grew up at Sheffield Square Apartments, graduated from New Albany in 1995, and Go Dogs, and attended and played athletics for University of Louisville. After school, I moved away, only to come back to my old New Albany home. Now my wife and I have a small business in New Albany and are raising our almost four-year-old daughter here in New Albany as well. Throughout my life, I've seen some good times and some not so good times for our city. We currently are in one of those good times, and we must keep New Albany moving forward. We are in a unique time in our storied history that we can grow and take advantage of our city living and support the local trends that are racing across the country. As we keep moving forward to grow our community, we must grow through redevelopment, rebuild, repurposing, and restoring versus large new developments or never developed lands. Since we cannot just build new or start from scratch, we must make sure that we invest in our infrastructure. And to me, that includes our water, our roads, our sewage, our parks, public transportation, affordable housing, and especially our safety, which is our first responders. We secondly must look at the blighted areas throughout the city, and we've got to figure out creative ways to fix these areas. It's not just going to be throwing money at them. We can do this by listening and through community involvement, as well as thinking outside the box and being able to put the pieces together to fix these areas. I do this every day in my small business. Lastly, we must involve our youth. Getting them involved is the key to our city and our continuing growth. We've got one of the best education systems in the area and really throughout the country. But we've got to do more than just educate. We must attract higher paying jobs to our areas. We must offer the jobs that will allow parents to stay instead of transfer out of the city. We must offer jobs that will be here long after 2019. We must continue to move forward and look towards the future of New Albany. I appreciate you watching. Thank you for your support and for your vote.
Leading for our future using lessons from our past. Hello, I'm Dave Barksdale, one of your current New Albany City Councilmen at large. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for your support over the past 3.5 years. I was born and raised in New Albany. I'm a 1971 graduate of New Albany High School and also a 1975 graduate of Indiana University Southeast, with bachelor's and master's degrees in elementary education. I'm a retired public school teacher and have been married for 42 years to the former Debbie Schuler. Together, we have 2 married children, DJ and wife Katie, and Carrie and her husband Cole, along with 5 grandchildren, Eli, Emma, Roy David, Lily, and Caleb. I attend St. Mary's Roman Catholic Church with my wife, where she's a member. And we also attend St. Mark's United Church of Christ, where I'm a member. I have been involved in numerous organizations throughout the years, and my present involvements include being the state-appointed Floyd County Historian, President of the Floyd County Historical Society, and the New Albany City Council appointee to the New Albany Redevelopment Commission, Tree Board, Urban Enterprise Association, and the Historic Preservation Commission. Some of my accomplishments as your city councilman at large are: I co-authored a resolution in support of the New Albany Floyd County Schools referendum. I supported the appropriation for funds for the Homeless Coalition of Southern Indiana, Blessings in a Backpack, and the purchase of nearly 40 new police cars over the past 3 years. I co-authored an ordinance prohibiting litter within the city of New Albany, and also an amendment to the noise control ordinance. I supported the resolution adopting the new City of New Albany Comprehensive Plan and zoning ordinances. And finally, I sponsored the ordinance that will make it possible for the city offices to relocate from the current city-county building into the old Wright's Furniture Building once restoration of the historic structure is complete. Looking to the future, I want to help continue the revitalization of downtown New Albany. The downtown is the heart of our community, not just New Albany, but all of Floyd County. With the tremendous progress we have seen in the downtown over the past 10 years, it is imperative to keep the momentum going with the continued influx of businesses and downtown housing coming into the Central Business District. I want to help build healthy neighborhoods in all areas of the city. Just as the downtown is the heart of the community, the neighborhoods are the veins and arteries supplying it. Personally, I believe strong neighborhood associations help build stronger and safer neighborhoods. I want to focus on distressed and forgotten commercial areas. There are several other commercial districts besides the downtown that deserves the city's attention. Uptown, which is the Vincennes Street corridor, near North New Albany, the Charlestown Road corridor, and certain sections of Grant Line Road and State Street are areas of concern for its citizens. And lastly, I want to continue to build a business-friendly environment. Attracting new businesses and industry to the city while retaining the established ones is going to be crucial to the future progress of our city. In closing, I am once again asking for your support and confidence May 7th and November 5th, so I may bring the educational and people skills along with my community involvement knowledge to the table in making the City of New Albany the very best. Thank you.
Hi, I am Sam Charbonneau. I'm the Democrat candidate for New Albany City Council at Large. First of all, I'd like to thank WNAS, the student and staff here, for putting on the meet and greet with the candidates. Deeply appreciative. Just a little bit about myself before I get started with the platform issues. You can always contact me at my website at samforna.com. If you have any questions or anything, please email me and go to that website. I'm a lifelong resident of New Albany. I'm married of 23 years to my wonderful wife, Christy Ward. And then I have two children, Michael, who's 22, and Logan, who's 21, both graduates of New Albany High School. And I've been working for the Department of Child Services for about 18 years. And the past 8 years, I've been in a management position with the Department of Child Services, as well as I've been the residential director for Providence House for Children. I used to work for the late Sister Barbara Zeller, and during my time at leadership under the late Sister Barbara Zeller, I learned a tremendous amount of serving the community, taking care of the budget, and meeting the needs of the children and families of our community. A few things I like to talk about is I grew up in downtown New Albany in what we call Uptown. It's the Bicknell Park area. And I grew up in that environment where at that time the Parks and Recreation Department provided free meals during the summers. And that neighborhood was a very tight neighborhood. There was no discrimination, there was no racism, and that was based on everyone take care of one another, and everybody had something in common back then. And the common underlying need, and the commonality, so to say, was that basically we were all poor and we were all together. In addition to that, half time during the summers, I would spend down on my grandparents' farm, learning how to take care of livestock and running a farm. And it was during that time that my grandfather would tell me not to come home late in evenings until every cattle and every pig was brought back to the gates and brought back home. Now I knew back then that if I came in from outside and not all the cattle was in, that I had to go back out in the woods and find the cattle and bring back in, because I learned at that moment that every piece of livestock was an investment. And the same goes for every citizen here in New Albany. Every person, every human, every child that lives in New Albany is our investment, and we have to keep New Albany moving forward. I have several commitments, and the reason why I say commitments, or you can say pledges, that I have for every voter is that growing up in downtown New Albany and even in the country, I learned that if you tell people that you're honest right off the bat, they won't believe you. Honesty is based on experience and trust and seeing what you do. And that's why my commitments and my pledges moving forward will be the following. The people of New Albany want to be informed about what's happening in New Albany. It's my pledge to let people know by going door to door, seeing 2,000 people every year, when elected to New Albany City Council. Again, that's 2,000 doors that I pledge and commit to seeing every year, not just during the campaign season or the political year where everyone's running for candidacy, but every year I'm going to go out and talk to 2,000 New Albany residents, inform them of what's going on. My experience is telling the hard truth, okay? Not misleading anyone, whether we want to merge a county or city, but telling the hard truth. What is happening in New Albany, what's coming down the pipe, and what's important, and hearing your views and express those views at the City Council and to our leadership in New Albany. The second thing I want to talk about is today's Wednesday in New Albany, and Wednesdays are Wear Red for Ed Day in supporting public educators. And first and foremost, the thing I want to support with public education in New Albany is that we have to keep our therapists and social workers in our schools. Now, we all know that the current Lilly grant that's keeping therapists, and when New Albany Floyd County Schools put therapists and social workers in schools, is running out. We have to sustain those therapists. That's part of school safety, and that gives relief to teachers, okay, and all these children in the middle schools, in the elementary schools, and high schools that have to deal with trauma on a daily basis. It's up to us, the citizens of New Albany, to make sure that we have those therapists and social workers in our schools. In addition to that, my commitment is to support all of our firefighters and all of our police officers to make sure they have the best resources and the best compensation to do their job. We have to take care of the people that take care of us. In addition, I want to commit a pledge to work with a working group with our local universities. We have a wonderful university and talented people working at the University at IUS, as well as the Purdue office down here in New Albany, as well as Ivy Tech. I want to develop those work groups to come up with incentives and programs and how we can make New Albany better. What do we need to do to increase our available workforce and our vocations to bring companies and bring new jobs? Now, attached to that is the work group I want to focus on is bringing micro factories to New Albany. Those micro factories are the ones that support the major factories that we have in Louisville, Jeffersonville, and New Albany. That's an essential piece of building New Albany and moving it forward. I want to make a commitment and a pledge to take care of all the abandoned housing and eliminate all that abandoned and vacant housing in New Albany. Both in the West End and in Uptown, we have a ton of abandoned housing. I know it takes money to take care of that issue, and we have to find that money. And as a leader on the City Council, it's our job to be an activist to find out how we can do that and support the leadership in eliminating abandoned and vacant housing. I want to make a commitment to support all of our citizens who live and work in our community, again, by making sure we bring jobs to New Albany, making sure that the children are safe in the schools while they're attending school. I want to make a pledge and a commitment to increase and bring and recruit leadership from minorities in the leadership of New Albany. We need more minorities in our leadership in New Albany, especially in our City Council. In addition to that, I'm going to support the current administration in improving affordable housing within New Albany, making sure everybody has affordable housing that is clean and suitable and stable for those moving into our homes and who want to remain living here and working here. I am very proud of the growth that New Albany's had, especially with our schools. We, the citizens of New Albany, have paid for the improvements in our schools and built new schools. That's been on us, and we've done it. Let's continue to move forward. Again, my name is Sam Charbonneau. I'm a Democrat candidate for City Council at Large. I'm asking for your vote. I deeply appreciate everyone voting, and your vote counts this year more than ever. Thank you very much.
Hi, my fellow New Albany citizens. My name is Christina Estel, and I am your candidate for New Albany City Council at Large. I am a single mother of 3 sons, Anthony, 21, Alex, 18, and Adrian, 13. I am a social worker by trade and a community advocate by passion, serving on the board of directors for Let Us Learn and Community Action of Southern Indiana, serving as the board's secretary. I am a graduate of Spalding University with 2 bachelor degrees in social work and psychology. As a professional social worker, I use my training and experience in conflict resolution and effective individual group to make change happen in the lives of my clients. And I will approach my job as your city council person the same way with a focus on embracing diversity and seeking community input and involvement in decisions before us as a body. By focusing resources and time to issues facing all of our citizens and advocating as a voice for social justice, I will bring my full attention to bridging the gap for a stronger, safer, and compassionate New Albany. That means looking forward to sustainable development and infrastructure repair that keeps business owners, big and small, and taxpayers' concerns and needs in mind. Accountable and transparent service as your council person, being your voice at the table, and being a good steward of taxpayer dollars with an eye on responsible governance. This is the utmost importance to me, because as an advocate for diverse representation in government, we must also act with future generations' social, economic, and environmental needs in mind. Lastly, I will work to be a consensus builder. In these times of diverse rhetoric emerging nationally, I will never shy from bold and dynamic solutions while still working for the best results possible. Elections are debated on the campaign trail, but after taking office, a true public servant works to lead. Strong and spirited debate is essential. We must not allow that to be a roadblock to what is right for our citizens. A lot has changed in the years since I've came to New Albany, and great changes still lie ahead in years to come. My passion for people, community, our environment, and future generations is always in the front of my mind in all that I do. We need leaders who represent this community and that serve in all aspects. The City Council is in need of more diverse perspectives, and I can provide that. Let's bring common sense solutions. Please vote Christina Estel at large Tuesday, November 5th.
Hello, and thank you for tuning in. I'm Al Knable with the New Albany City Council. I'm running for the at-large position for re-election. And thank you for tuning in, and thank you WNAS and students for providing this service for everyone. I thought it would be interesting, hopefully, to start by looking backwards to the 2015 campaign and what I promised to do and what we've delivered on before looking forward to 2020 and beyond. Back in 2019, this was the mailer that I sent out, and many of you got it in the mail, so I thought that it would be interesting to read from it. The personal facts really haven't changed. I'm still married to Jessica Knable, still have 4 children, Claire, Harry, Elias, and Nolan. Still have the same educational background and working background. What I wanted to focus on was the area where it says committed to New Albany, and I'm sure no one has this collector's item at home, so I'm going to read from it for you. But in 2015, I stated that I was committed to working to make New Albany cleaner and a better place to live. During the last 3.5 years, I think that we have worked hard to do that. Specifically, I helped rewrite the litter ordinance, bringing that up to date with more significant fines for violators. Also helped rewrite the noise ordinance, again emphasizing the fact that we all have neighbors, we all need to be respectful of them, and hoping that we can live better amongst one another. And if not, again, that has a little bit higher penalty going along with that as well. Point 2 was listening and responding to your concerns. I want to emphasize that I have, to the best of my knowledge, answered every email, every text, every snail mail, every tweet, every Facebook query that I have received. So I have tried to listened and tried to respond. Whether that response was agreeable to the folks who sent those messages, I don't know. I hope most of them were, but certainly we can always answer yes, no, maybe, great idea, but we don't have the money for that right now. We need to prioritize that. So I think I've been very, very responsive with regards to that. And I think that's the first prerequisite. If you're going to run for public office, you need to be responsive to the people. So please take that into account when you're deciding who to vote for. If you can't pick up the phone and call someone back, there's no reason to be running for office, in my opinion. Point 3 was planning a responsible and transparent city budget. I think with each passing year, I have required more details before passing the budget. We now have a very detailed snapshot of some of the parks and recreation components of the budget, which we really didn't have in my estimation back in 2015. Once those are debated and passed, those are all available for public record. And I really encourage anyone who has those questions, they can either access that or they can get to me and I'll get those numbers to them. Final point that I had in 2015 was I was going to demand equal respect and opportunity for all New Albany citizens. Again, the first part of that is to listen to people, and I think that I've exemplified how I've done that in 2 respects that I can share with you. Number one, when I was president of the City Council in 2018, I revitalized the Human Rights Commission and got a board together that will stand up for people that feel like they're underrepresented within city employment. And also, I helped write a resolution for hate crimes laws that was presented to the governor last year prior to the state's passage of a package that, although it's not as strong as I would have liked, it still answers some of the questions that Indiana had lingering with regards to hate crimes laws. So I think that's where we've been. I also want to share with you that I've also, through the council, worked on several committees. Perhaps the one that has had the greatest kind of quiet impact has been the Horseshoe Revolving Loan Fund. I've chaired that committee now for, I believe, the last 3 years, and we have helped small business startups who are trying to get established in New Albany get some financial footing. Again, that would not have been possible without the position on the council, so I'm really, really glad that I had that opportunity to do so. And one more thing, as president of the council in 2018, I did name a youth liaison from New Albany High School and came and spoke to the student council. So I've always been trying to get out there where I can interact with different components of our citizenry. Where do we go from here, 2020 and beyond? Well, as recently as tonight, I am presenting a resolution at council that I'm hoping will be picked up by the Indiana Department of Transportation and read very carefully. I'm requesting that we have open access to vehicle traffic on the Sherman-Minton Bridge during the repair projects which are forthcoming in 2021. We have several small businesses in town, we have large employers, we have employees, and we really want to do the best that we can to make sure that that bridge stays open. So that's what I'm doing tonight. In a broader sense, I would like to increase transparency within local government even more than we've been able to do in the last few years. Transparency is one of those words that's often spoken of but rarely defined. To me, it means a totally open process with regards to how decisions are made. If you ever want to know how or why I decided to vote on something, you can pick up the phone and call or email or however you want to do that. I'm always conscious of the fact that it's not my vote, it's not my opinion that I'm expressing when there's a vote, but I try to really listen to constituents, develop a consensus within my my thought process for what's in the best interest of the broadest group of our citizens. Number 2, I really think that the upcoming 3 or 4 years, it's going to be of very paramount importance that we address the homeless issue in New Albany. We have to start by acknowledging that that problem exists. Then we have to probably come together with other groups throughout the community who are already working on that And by working together, I'm hoping that we can acknowledge that the process exists and then facilitate that. In the past 3 years, we have allocated money to some of the coalitions in town and to the Salvation Army on that, but I would like to see the New Albany City Council take a more direct role in that. We also have a great opportunity with the River Heritage Conservancy just east of us, and I'd really like to see the City Council come to the table on that and help that group get that wonderful wildlife conservancy established in our area. I also really believe that it's going to be important for this next 4 years for us to see money flowing out to the neighborhoods in the form of infrastructure, repair, and maintenance. We have a wonderful downtown district now. The heart of the city is pumping, if you will, but we really need to circulate some of that money out into the periphery of the city, into the neighborhoods. It's wonderful to have a great downtown area, but if we don't have access to sidewalks and bike lanes and good surfaced, well-surfaced roads to get those into town, it really does us very little. So I would really like to see some of that money flowing out to the neighborhoods. Above all, my plan, if I'm reelected, is for the next 4 years to keep listening to you. I really like to hear from the constituents. It's absolutely imperative that I do so. It's the necessity. It's absolutely the best way if I'm going to represent you at the council and your family and make sure that, again, my vote represents your feelings and your votes, and to make sure that your tax dollar is spent as wisely as it can be. One final example of that is well, I won't even get into that because I think I'm running out of time here. But let me just say that I love this job. I love this city. I love interacting with folks. It's been an honor to serve for the past 4 years. It would be a great honor and a privilege to be reelected and serve from 2020 onwards. And so I would really appreciate your consideration as you go to the polls this November. Thank you.
Hi, and first I want to thank the students and staff of WNAS for allowing the candidates to come in and tell their story. My parents always taught us, take care of the community and the community will take care of you. My name's Stephanie Griffith and I'm running for New Albany City Council District 1. A little bit about my background. Both my parents, Betty and Paul, were born and raised in New Albany. They believed, cared, and invested in New Albany. I was very happy when I got to join my 2 sisters, Stacy Tennell and Julie Young, and we purchased the family business. I was even more proud 25 years ago when we joined our 2 brothers, PJ and Chuck Linford, and we purchased the property and buildings that's still home to that family business today. I've been married to my husband, Tony Griffith, for 24 years. Both of our houses were in District 1 where we raised our 3 children, Joey, who's 22, Allie, who's 20, and Jacob, who's 18. I've always enjoyed volunteering over the years in many different organizations that I'm passionate about and served on many different committees and boards. One that I think gave me a lot of experience was Develop New Albany. I served on there for 8 years as president from 2014 to 2016. I learned what happens when a group of passionate volunteers come together to help revitalize downtown, and I was very excited to be a part of that situation. I've noticed this as I've been out walking District 1, that same passion is in all of our neighborhoods. From the lady on 9th Street, whose husband grew up there, she has always gone above and beyond and cared for her neighborhood. To the gentleman on Cordon Pike, who told me stories that I never knew about businesses that were located in that area. To the lady at Parkview Terrace, who was so excited that I knocked on her door. She was introducing me to all of her neighbors. These people are very passionate, caring, and are invested in New Albany. Of course, there are some concerns, like the lack of paving in local neighborhoods, like the lady on Connor Street, who's lived there 34 years and her street's only been paved once. She still doesn't even have sidewalks. To the neighbors off Cherry Street, who are tired of looking at all the abandoned, unused cars in their neighbor's yard and nothing's been done. To the gentleman that lives off Ernie, who just wants to get involved and help out some way. These people just want something done. They want their voices to be heard. And I want to be that person to help them. I want to help their voice be heard. I want to be their neighborhood advocate so they too will continue to live, care, and invest in New Albany. So I'm asking you to please vote for me, Stephanie Griffith, for City Council District 1 so I can continue to help serve and help my community. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this and have a great day.
Hello everybody, my name is Scott Stewart and I'm running for City Council in the 2nd District. It's a district I know well. It's where I was born, where I learned how to walk, talk, and ride my bike. I've learned a great deal about the city in my life in New Albany. I've learned a great deal about public service. I had the honor of working for Mayor Bob Reel in my early 20s. And I've had a chance to serve on the staff of Senator Dick Lugar and Governor Mitch Daniels, so I understand the concept of public service well. Through my private sector career, I've learned leadership. I know what it takes to advance ideas. I know what it takes to help lead organizations, and that's been a valuable asset for me as I've learned how to better myself every day. The most important thing, though, that I've learned is knocking door to door in the 2nd District. People are telling me this. They see the city spending as unsustainable. They look at all the paving that's occurring everywhere you look. They scratch their head, wonder why it's happening all within 2 months of Election Day, and wonder where the money's coming from. I will tell you that as a member of the City Council and part of the Mark Seabrook team, we will get a handle on city spending. Second, we will work very hard to ensure that the city is a welcoming, inclusive, and transparent city government. People tell me on their doorsteps that a lot is going on, but they just don't understand what it is, and they don't feel like they're included or invited to the party. That needs to stop. And I believe that under Mark Seabrook's leadership, it will. A third point that people make to me often is they just don't understand why the city and county government can't work better together. It's an idea that says, on one hand, it's a small enough county, we just should be able to work together more smartly anyway. But at the end of the day, it's all about saving your hard-earned tax dollars and making sure not a dollar is wasted. I'm very proud to be on Mark Seabrook's team and the other 9 candidates running for public office. I think this is an extraordinary time for our city. I think I'm most honored to be a part of what looks to be a team characterized by the offer of trusted leadership and positive change. I thank you for what you all do to make our community better, and I look forward to serving you in the 2nd District. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Greg Phipps, and I'm running for re-election as the 3rd District City Councilman as a Democratic candidate. I'm a lifelong resident of New Albany. I attended Fairmont Elementary School, Hazelwood Junior High, and graduated from New Albany High School in 1979. I attended Indiana University Southeast and earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in sociology. I attended the University of Louisville for graduate school and earned a master's degree in sociology. I'm employed at a local university as a member of the resident faculty, and I also serve as the program coordinator for the sociology department. I'm a member of the East Spring Street Neighborhood Association, the Floyd County Historical Society, and St. Paul's Episcopal Church, where I serve as a lector, an acolyte, and member of the Altar Guild. When I first ran for election, my motto was, "It's time for change." And during my time on the City Council, there have been significant changes in the City of New Albany. Let me summarize some of the achievements and changes during my time on the Council. First, an updated human rights ordinance, expanding coverage and protection against employment and housing discrimination. An ordinance prohibiting roadside collections, which place both collectors and motorists in danger at our city's busiest intersections. An addition of 2 new emergency notification sirens, one at the Spring Street Firehouse and the other at Bicknell Park, providing better emergency notification for residents in the 3rd District. Appropriations for the Bicentennial Park in downtown New Albany, which is used for summer concerts and brings hundreds of people to downtown. Millions of dollars of appropriation for paving our streets, alleys, and repairing our sidewalks. Appropriations to Haven House, the Salvation Army, St. Elizabeth's Charities, the Homeless Coalition of Southern Indiana, and Blessing in a Backpack program that feeds our local school children on the weekend. Funding for numerous police cars, a new fire truck, and renovation of our fire stations. Appropriations for the improvement of our city parks, soccer fields, and the creation of the new Silver Street Park and the River Run Aquatic Center. Appropriations for the demolition of unsafe buildings and summer weed removal programs. A new comprehensive plan to guide development in our city through the year 2036. A new comprehensive zoning code for the 21st century, replacing the outdated code adopted in the early 1970s. A rental registration ordinance requiring landlords to register their properties with the city to ensure greater accountability for maintaining safe, clean, and habitable properties. Appropriations for the quality of life projects ranging from Friday evening concerts in Bicentennial Park, fireworks on the riverfront for the 4th of July, and programs for children like Trunk or Treat and movie night at the amphitheater. I supported the 2-way traffic conversion to calm traffic and to promote safer, walkable neighborhoods in the 3rd District and easier access for patrons to our downtown businesses. Beautification and repair efforts at both Fairview and West Haven cemeteries. The Breakwater Apartments on Spring Street, adding hundreds of residents and patrons for our downtown businesses. Improvement to stormwater and flood control, which have significantly reduced flooding in our city streets. A new city hall scheduled to open by the end of the year with more parking, state-of-the-art technology, and handicap accessibility. And lastly, fiscally responsible balanced budgets for the 8 years that I've been on the council. I'm running for re-election because I believe my work is not complete. We need to sustain the progress and development that's vital to our city's future. We need to keep the progress and momentum moving forward. In conclusion, if re-elected, I will continue to carefully and critically examine the issues brought before the council. I will listen to all sides and then formulate my decision based on data and reason, not on emotion or political posturing. You can rest assured that I will continue to make the right decisions for New Albany. I am a Democrat, but I am willing to work with people of any political party who share my goals of making New Albany a better place to live and to work. If you share my vision for a more prosperous, cleaner, and safer New Albany, please vote for me, Greg Phipps, for 3rd District City Councilman on Election Day. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Cisa Kubley, and I'm running for New Albany City Council District 4. I grew up in Bloomington, Indiana, and have long been a believer in community advocacy and being a voice for those in need. I spoke out at my first council meeting when I was only 11. I moved to New Albany in my early 20s and opened my business So Fitting. We moved into downtown at the beginning of the restoration boom and have loved being a part of all of the growth and change that's happened through the hard work of other small business owners and local developers. 6 years ago, I bought my house in Midtown New Albany near S. Ellen Jones Elementary School. I realized that with all the growth that was happening downtown, many of our neighborhoods are being left behind. You may have seen my partner and I out walking our rescue dog and exploring the neighborhoods. We've met many wonderful people and seen so many unique neighborhoods. We've also, unfortunately, seen a lot of garbage, overgrown trees and bushes that block our sidewalks, and oftentimes sidewalks that are so crumbling or missing completely that you have to walk in the street to get around them. When talking to many of our residents, some of the loudest complaints that I've heard are rental properties throughout the district that are untended and left to rot, that are no longer fit for human habitation. They also feel that we have an administration that doesn't care about our neighborhoods and doesn't care about our residences. We have a never-ending and invasive schedule of construction projects that often are given no notice to our residents, and they get no input on how these projects are going to impact their neighborhoods and their community. I believe that the best solutions for community come from a broad range of life experiences. New Albany is full of diversity, but our council does not currently reflect that. Many people don't know who their council person is or what our council is meant to do for us, what our tax dollars are paying them for. As your council person, I will be a visible and accessible advocate for your neighborhoods and for change. I will work to bring the council into the 21st century. When I first decided to run, I could find so little information on how the council works or what a council person does that I had to track down current sitting councilmen just to get basic questions answered. I will work to update the city website to make it more easily accessible and to make it easier for you to find out what district you're in and who your council person is and how to get a hold of them. I will work with the rest of the administration to ensure that your neighborhoods aren't left behind and that we are working to spend money transparently and responsibly for the benefit of everyone. I believe that every resident of New Albany deserves to be heard and has value. It's time for new leadership for a better New Albany. My name is Cisa Kubli, and I'm ready to be your voice for positive change in District 4. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Pat McLaughlin. I'm City Council and for the 4th District of New Albany. I've been in office, this will be my 12th year, closing out my 3rd term. I've been a lifelong resident, as well as my wife, Deanna. We have 5 sons, and they've attended schools throughout public schools, New Albany, Foley County Public Schools here in New Albany, and New Albany High School, since this is in my district. Take that time, it's time to thank WNAS for giving me and my fellow candidates the opportunity to speak and to do this. I think it's a very good idea, and I appreciate it. Reasons for running over the years, I've thought about this, and it's basically, I mean, it's my city. A lot of times we can complain and we can say things about how things are run, but no better way than to get out and vote, and even on top of that to even run and be a part of it. And so I decided to do that. I used my memories and the way that of a child when I was growing up, of how the bustling downtown we had in New Albany, and watching it grow and then get into decline and just become practically a ghost town. And then I started thinking, well, we can make a difference here. I started going to the meetings at city council meetings and finding that I wasn't really quite pleased with what I saw in terms of the interaction between the legislative body and the executive body. I think there'd be room for improvement there. And so I ran, and I was lucky enough that the voters had put me in place. Like I said, I've been in office 12 years. I was city council president 5 years in a row. And in that time, we accomplished many things, and I will get to that in a moment. The responsibility of a councilman in New Albany is basically fiscal budgeting. We do this annually with our work sessions that we have in the fall, late summer to fall, to get ready for the budget. The city gets the data and the materials that we need to work with it. They're very good at doing that. And then as we pass the budget, which we have done actually, working together at about 6 years, have been in or under budget in a row. We also get monthly reports of budget to actual from the controller. Linda Moeller does a very good job of that. A part with the budgeting goes into some of the infrastructure with roads and the maintenance of our infrastructure. Roads in particular, let's say paving, we've got that going every year. It's a challenge to be keeping paving going as long as it can. and its longevity in New Albany with some of the substrate that we have in areas. And this year, as a result of, we've talked with the administration, we're going to appropriate an additional $1 million for paving this year. Other issues that we've had over the years have been quality of life. I watched, even after I got in office, how we, interlocal agreement with the parks, decided to close the pool that we had. And we were without a pool for some time. A city this large is not very common in the state of Indiana to not have an outdoor pool facility. The administration came to us with two large ideas of the pool, an aquatic center, and Silver Street Park. Silver Street Park being in my district, used to be industrial area, used to be Hoosier Panel, employed a lot of people. They closed, went out of business, and moved and stayed vacant for a long time, then became an eyesore. Now it's a wonderful park facility with an outdoor field, sports field, a splash park, skate park, and indoor we have an indoor facility that is bar none one of the best in the area. We use it from, it's used by either competitive teams or recreational teams, from soccer to softball to flag football and things like that. But it's more important, it's open to even the people of the city of New Albany and the neighborhood. It is their park, it's your park. River Run, that has exceeded, I think, the administration's goals of its attendance every year. And with that, we've been, it's been very popular, and it has more than filled the niche of just having a pool in the city. Another example of working together, Greenway. We're very happy to have the Greenway almost finished. It's been a great addition to the Indiana side of the river, and we're happy to have that in New Albany, Jeffersonville, and Clarksville. And there'll be some additions, I think, that the administration will bring to us with the ideas and things of enhancing that area that we have for Greenway. Working with an administration like that, I think the executive body and legislative body, I think, is paramount into getting things done. We may not always agree on everything and differ and have to change things, but you compromise, and that's been the ability to compromise that's kept, I think, the city going the way it has in the past 10 or 12 years. I like to work, to have that dialogue, and I like to keep that going. And I would appreciate your vote for the upcoming election. And I feel like my job's not quite finished yet, and I intend to devote even more time to it. And I thank you, and please, by all means, get out and vote in the upcoming election. We have voting for 30 days at the clerk's office and at different points throughout New Albany. So please take advantage of it and vote. Thank you very much.
Hello, New Albany. First, I'd like to thank WNAS for having me here today. I survived through the primary, and now I'm here for the general election. My name is Josh Turner. All my friends call me JT, and I'm a Republican candidate running for City Council, and I am wanting to bring people together to revive District 5. If you live in the 5th District, you already know that we need help. Throughout the past year, you've probably seen me out and about on your street. I've been out knocking on doors, and hopefully I've had a chance to meet each and every one of you. If not, I will real soon. If you weren't home, I left some information behind about my plan to revive District 5. I've listened to everyone, from Monty Drive to Hedden Park, from Bahero Avenue to McDonald Lane and every street in between. I've listened to your concerns over the condition of our streets, our drainage and stormwater issues, drugs, and criminal activity. I've heard so many heartbreaking stories from people who grew up in the 5th District only to watch as Colonial Manor and the entire Charlestown Road corridor suffer neglect and a complete lack of investment by the city government. Historically speaking, municipal elections in New Albany have had a pretty bad turnout. We really need to bring people together and talk to our neighbors to let them know how important these elections really are. Voting in a presidential election is great, but it is our municipal elections where your vote has an absolute direct impact here in our community. A little bit about me. I'm an Air Force veteran, husband to my beautiful wife Jessica, and father to our precious children Lucas, who is 4, and Jolene, who is 2. Since my time in the military, I have always had the hunger to serve in some capacity. When Jessica and I started a family, that hunger became too great to just sit on the sidelines. The fact of the matter is, we are only on this earth for a short period of time. The world our children will inherit will be the one that we create for them. I can think of no better place to make a change than right here in our neighborhoods. Being an advocate for Colonial Manor and the entire Charlestown Road corridor is a major part of my plan to revive District 5. I've learned a lot since I started running for office. For instance, almost a third of our population in New Albany lives within a 1-mile radius of Colonial Manor. With a third of the city's entire population living in the area around Colonial Manor, we do not need more housing. Instead, we need amenities, including restaurants, shops, and services to support the existing housing. When I talk to people about Colonial Manor, their eyes light up. That area was vibrant, and it can be that way again. It won't end up looking like it did in its heyday, but I believe a new heyday is coming, and we can expect it to be better than ever. We must have high expectations for Colonial Manor and the rest of 5th District. We can and we must do better. Together we will be better. Your concerns are my concerns, and I can tell you I hear your voice loud and clear. My name is JT, and I hope to earn your vote and the opportunity to work with you and many others to revive District 5.
Hello, my name is Matthew Nash and I'm seeking re-election to the New Albany City Council for the 5th District. I would first like to thank the students and staff of WNAS Radio and Television for giving candidates this forum. As a student at New Albany High School, this was one of my favorite parts of my experience as a member of the WNAS team. It is one of the things that piqued my interest in politics at an early age. In 2009, I took that interest in politics and in making New Albany a better place to live, and began writing a column in the News and Tribune. For over 300 straight weeks, I typed at my laptop most weeks describing what changes I would like to see come to the city that I grew up in. In 2015, I was given the opportunity to represent the 5th District on the New Albany City Council, and it has been my honor to work to make it a better place than it was before. Over the last 3.5 years, the current City Council has accomplished quite a bit in our journey to make New Albany a great place to live. I would put our record up against any council in recent history. We've worked to make our city safer and cleaner with several ordinances that proved our city codes. We created a littering ordinance that imposes higher fines for our city's litter bugs. We updated our building codes to include rental registration and inspection. And we've just this year enacted a new zoning ordinance that created a more detailed and streamlined code that was the first major overhaul of the city's zoning rules in nearly half a century. We have also funded initiatives that improve the stormwater and sewer capabilities in New Albany. Our flood control and stormwater upgrades, including the complete overhaul of every pump, has thoroughly improved our ability to limit the damages during flooding. Our work to improve our antiquated sewer system will finally eliminate sanitary sewer overflows, so the EPA cannot limit, reduce, or deny economic development projects and growth opportunities for the city of New Albany. In the very near future, we will be out from under the thumb of the EPA as we finally satisfy the conditions of the consent decree. Over the last few years, we have done our best to make sure that our police and fire departments are well trained and properly equipped so that they are able to protect the citizens of New Albany. I believe this is the least we can do for New Albany's first responders. They go out to do an incredible job every day, and they deserve our gratitude. New Albany celebrated its bicentennial a few years back, and at over 200 years old, our city was starting to look its age. Over the last few years, we have made countless improvements to our aging infrastructure, including paving more roads over the last 4 years than at any time in our city's history. We've also been able to do an entire overhaul of a few of our city streets, including McDonald Lane in the 5th District. These projects included completely rebuilt roads, providing new sidewalks to keep pedestrians and families safe, improved drainage to reduce flooding, and new safety enhancements to protect residents. We are also just beginning the long-awaited improvements to Slate Run Road that will bring more of these features to the 5th District. These improvements will give much-needed access to our community's newest school. I have enjoyed my first term on the New Albany City Council, and I continue to learn more about the job every day. I believe New Albany is a better place to live than it was 4 years ago, but we still have some work to do. My name is Matthew Nash, and I am running for re-election to the New Albany City Council in the 5th District, and I would appreciate your support so we can all work together to make New Albany even better. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Scott Blair, and I'm running for re-election in the 6th Council District in New Albany. I've served for 2 terms and asking to be re-elected for a 3rd term. Currently, I serve as a City Council President. I'm an independent candidate. I don't accept campaign donations, and as such, I don't like influence on people who have provided money for a campaign, and I also don't like the influence on the political parties. I want to be available to make the best decision for the constituents. As I reflect back on my last 8 years of accomplishments, there's a couple things that I particularly want to mention. First of all, the Parks Department. When I first went in office 8 years ago, we put together a plan to reestablish the City of New Albany Parks Department. It's been a big success. We've added new facilities, we remodeled and rehabbed existing facilities, we brought in some great staff members, and we're doing a great job of servicing for the community. We've got adult programs all the way down to youth programs, after school programs, and we've really increased the quality of life and the amenities for the City of New Albany. And at the same time, we met our financial projections on the Parks Department. I spent a lot of time earlier this year on our zoning code, and a couple items in particular is we strengthened the residential property maintenance code. Obviously we live in close proximity to each other here in New Albany, and we want to make sure that surrounding properties don't have a negative effect on our properties, and that the city has a certain level of maintenance standards. Also added some protection for the the commercial corridors, in particular thinking about the Charlestown Road corridor, as far as how that can be developed, what kind of business is going to be located, and what the building standards are for that section of our city. Also had worked extensively on funding for street paving. As you know, this year we're doing a lot of street paving. We put money in the budget for next year to do the same level of street paving next year as we're currently doing this year. We also made sure we're eligible for community crossing grants. It's a grant program through the state of Indiana. We can receive up to $1 million a year, and I can tell you we've received the maximum amount the last couple of years, and we want to continue to receive our share of those dollars. Going forward, I want to continue to improve on those items I just mentioned, but in particular, I want to do a corridor study for the Charlestown Road corridor, engage a public planning firm to help us determine what we can do to the streetscape, to the Charlestown Road street itself, how we can improve sidewalks, drainage, the streetscape, canopies, and so forth to attract private investors to come and invest in that corridor. The city can't fund everything. We need to make it attractive for outside companies, developers to come in and invest in that street and rehab some of those abandoned buildings, maybe repurpose sections of that street. But we need to turn that area around. It's in a state of decline now, and we need to enhance that street, similar to what's going on Grantline Road and obviously what's going on State Street. On neighborhood improvements, we need to implement a plan and a schedule to repave every street in New Albany on a regular basis. So we need to make sure we have the funding in place to do that. We also need to repair sidewalks and fix drainage issues. We've done some of that throughout the neighborhoods, but we need to continue to do more of that and make sure the infrastructure in our neighborhoods are in good shape. We also need to slow down the drivers in the residential neighborhoods. There's a safety issue. We just have too many people driving too fast and ignoring stop signs. We can do design features such as speed tables, speed radar guns, and make stop signs more visible. I think it will have a positive impact on the traffic flow throughout the neighborhoods. Annexation is something that we have started already on a preliminary basis. We're in the process of putting together a financial plan to see if it's feasible to annex certain parts of the surrounding unincorporated areas of New Albany. By annexing, we can grow the city limits, reduce the cost of services by extending the city boundaries. The financial plan has to make sense for the city of New Albany, and also has to make sense for those areas that we're looking to annex, and it has to be a win-win for both groups. And in closing, the last piece I want to talk about is fiscal responsibility. It's no secret I've been critical of some of the spending that we've done on some large capital projects here in New Albany. You know, we need to make sure we have transparency, public input. We need to do more due diligence when we're spending on large projects, and these are projects that are going to have a long-term effect on the city, fixed costs that we have to budget for in the future. And we also need to prioritize our spending. So we need to do a better job as far as fiscal responsibility and how we use your tax dollars. In closing, I love New Albany. It's been my home my entire adult life. I want to continue to improve, make this a better place to live. Scott Blair, Independent, 6th District. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Scott Evans, and I'm running for New Albany City Council District 6. Before I begin, I would like to thank New Albany High School, WNAS Radio, along with the teachers, staff, and students who have made this forum possible by extending the invitation to me as well as the other candidates, allowing each of us the opportunity to inform voters about who we are and what we stand for. Now a little about me. I am married. My beautiful wife Sherry and I have 4 children. 2 are adults out living on their own. 1 is in middle school and 1 is in high school. Sherry and I also have 1 grandchild, and I couldn't be prouder of my family, and we are grateful for this wonderful community. I'm a lifelong resident of New Albany. I graduated from New Albany High School in 1992. After graduating high school, I attended Indiana University Southeast for several years. However, I completed my bachelor's degree in criminal justice through Indiana Wesleyan University. In 1994, I began my career in law enforcement by accepting a position as a corrections officer at the Harrison County Jail. In 1996, I accepted a position as a patrolman with the Harrison County Sheriff's Department. Then in January of 2001, I accepted a position as a patrolman with the Floyd County Sheriff's Department. Although I love serving the citizens of Harrison County, my heart then as now has always been to give back to the community I was raised in and serve the citizens of New Albany and Floyd County. And I've been blessed to be able to do that now for the last 18 years. During my long career at the Floyd County Sheriff's Department, I've held many different positions. I've been a patrol officer, a detective, a patrol supervisor, part of the Sheriff's executive staff, and the Metro SWAT team commander. Currently, I oversee the crash reconstruction team, which is responsible for investigating serious bodily injury and fatal injury traffic crashes that occur in Floyd County. And day to day, I'm a lieutenant assigned to first shift patrol as the commander. The list of professional development schools I've attended are too numerous to highlight in this short amount of time. The one I believe is the most beneficial and the one I want to highlight that I graduated from was the Administrative Officers course at the Southern Police Institute, which is a premier leadership school attended by police executives from all over the country, in fact the world. And it is part of the Justice Administration program at the University of Louisville. I've discussed my professional accomplishments because throughout my career I have been a proven leader in both actions and in education. And that is a skill set that I will bring to the New Albany City Council. Because I am a proven leader, I will have a better vision of New Albany. Now I would like to discuss why I decided to become a candidate for City Council. Over the past few years, I've seen a lot of progress in New Albany, and like many of you, I was happy to see the revitalization of downtown businesses. However, the current administration and many on the City Council have put New Albany on the wrong track financially, and I feel it needs a new direction in order for it to be prosperous for future generations. I would love to do my part to be a part of creating those solutions that put New Albany on a better track. There also lacks transparency in city government, and the City Council needs leadership with a vision of a better New Albany for the future. When elected, I will have a better vision and will work tirelessly to improve our city, all of our city. I will push to invest in neighborhoods by ensuring safer ways to walk, run, bike, and drive. I will push to implement a new level of transparency where you know where every dollar is spent. I will be more inclusive. In our New Albany, everybody will count. I have laid out why I'm a qualified, committed, and dedicated public servant, and why I decided to be a candidate for City Council. So on Election Day, I humbly ask for your vote. Scott Evans, New Albany City Council District 6. Thank you for taking the time to learn about the candidates.